I wanted to exist, I had to make it happen myself. I started small. Every time mom or dad came down for tests, I memorized their routines. Dad always checked his phone exactly 3 times during each visit. Mom hummed the same tune while drawing blood. They were creatures of habit, and habits could be exploited. The security cameras became my teachers. I studied my parents like a scientist studying lab rats. Dad left for work at 7:43 every morning, returned at 6:17. Mom grocery shopped on Tuesdays, had book club on Thursdays. They fought about money on the 15th of each month when bills came due. My sisters noticed the change in me first. During their nightly visits, they found me doing push-ups, sit-ups, running in place. I had to stay strong, not just as spare parts, but as someone who could fight back. Emma brought down a notebook hidden in her math textbook. We developed a code. 1 tap on the pipes meant parents awake. 2 taps meant all clear. 3 meant emergency. The notebook became our planning document, passed back and forth under the door. I drew diagrams of the house from memory and camera angles, marked exit points, hiding spots, blind zones where the cameras couldn't see. My sisters filled in details from upstairs, which floorboards creaked, which windows opened silently, where Dad kept his keys. The first real test came 3 weeks later. Olivia had a swim meet on Saturday. Both parents would attend, leaving at noon, returning by 4. 4 hours of opportunity. I'd been practicing picking the digital lock with hairpins my sisters smuggled down. The mechanism was simple once you understood it. That morning, I watched them leave on the monitors, counted to 300 to make sure they hadn't forgotten anything. Then I went to work on the lock. My hands shook, but muscle memory took over. Click, click. The red light turned green. The door opened for the first time in 5 years without an adult present. The basement stairs looked impossibly tall. I climbed them slowly, legs trembling from more than exertion. At the top, another door. This one unlocked. I pushed it open and stepped into a kitchen I'd only seen through screens. Everything was wrong. The proportions, the colors, the smells. Real life didn't match the grainy footage I'd lived through. I touched the counter, the refrigerator, a chair. Solid. Real. Proof I wasn't dreaming. I wanted to explore everything, but time was limited. I found Dad's study, searched his desk, insurance papers, medical records, bank statements. I photographed everything with an old digital camera Emma had snuck down months ago. Evidence. Proof I existed. In Mom's closet, I found a box labeled baby memories. 3 hospital bracelets, 3 birth certificates, 3 sets of footprints. Nothing for a 4th child. But underneath, wrapped in tissue paper, a 4th hospital bracelet. Baby girl D. Same date, same time, plus 3 minutes. I existed. I had proof. The garage door rumbled. They were home early. Panic flooded my system. I ran, taking the stairs 3 at a time, slamming the basement door behind me. The digital lock clicked shut just as I heard Mom's voice in the kitchen. My heart hammered as I watched them on the monitors. They moved through their routine, oblivious, but Olivia knew. During dinner, she kept glancing at the basement door. That night, she slipped me a note. They came home because Emma called them, said she felt sick. We bought you time. My sisters had created a distraction. They were learning to be conspirators. Over the following weeks, we refined our system. Lily started art classes on Saturdays, giving us another window. Emma joined debate club after school. Olivia took up volunteering at the hospital. Each activity meant time away from home, opportunities for me to practice existing. I learned to reset the lock from inside, to move through the house without leaving traces. I memorized where every object belonged, how every cushion sat. I became a ghost who could walk through walls without disturbing dust. But Mom was getting suspicious. She started coming down at random times, checking my vitals, asking strange questions. Do you ever think about leaving? She asked one day while taking my blood pressure. Do you understand why you're special? I kept my face blank, gave the answers she wanted. I'm safe here. I'm the emergency one. I understand. She smiled, but her eyes stayed worried. That night, she installed a new camera in my room. I pretended not to notice, but I'd seen her hide the monitor in her bedroom closet. There's something deeply unsettling about how matter-of-fact this spare child is about their situation, like they've normalized being kept as living organ storage. The way the parents frame this as love while literally treating their 4th child as backup parts makes me wonder what kind of twisted logic they use to justify this horror show to themselves. She was watching me sleep. My sisters grew bolder in their rebellion. They started talking loudly about their imaginary sister at school, making her so present in conversations that teachers stopped correcting them. They drew pictures of 4 girls, wrote stories about quadruplets, made the impossible to ignore. The school counselor called another meeting. This time, all 3 of them went. They sat in those plastic chairs and told the same story. A sister in the basement, parents who lied, a girl who existed only as spare parts. The counselor's report labeled it as shared delusion and trauma bonding. Recommended family therapy. My parents declined, said they'd handle it at home. The handling came in the form of separation. Lily moved to the guest room. Emma and Olivia were forbidden from spending time together unsupervised. Divide and conquer. But they'd underestimated the bond between identical souls. We adapted. Notes became more elaborate, hidden in increasingly creative places. Lily left messages in her artwork. Emma encoded plans in math homework. Olivia used her hospital volunteering to research organ donation laws, printing information on a library computer. I studied every document she brought, learned about consent, about bodily autonomy, about rights I supposedly didn't have. Knowledge became another form of strength, another tool in my arsenal. The cameras showed me everything. Dad's business was struggling. Mom's book club was actually a wine club. They fought more, drank more, checked on me more. The pressure was building in the house like steam in a sealed pot. Then Emma got sick. Not broken arm sick, really sick. Fever that wouldn't break, joints that swelled like balloons. The monitors showed them rushing her to the hospital at 3 in the morning. I pressed my face against the screen, trying to see through the pixels to my sister's pain. The basement door opened at dawn. Both parents, still in yesterday's clothes. Dad carried the medical kit. Mom had consent forms. Just a precaution, she said. Just in case. You understand, don't you? She's your sister. I understood perfectly. I understood that my existence had only ever been about this moment. This choice that wasn't a choice. Give up pieces of myself or let Emma suffer, the spare parts fulfilling their purpose. They took more blood than ever before, ran tests with machines they'd rented, checked compatibility markers, tissue types, antibody levels. I submitted to it all, playing the compliant ghost while my mind raced. Emma's illness turned out to be autoimmune, treatable with medication, not transplants. But the testing continued. Better safe than sorry, Mom said. Better to be prepared. My sister's anger transformed into something harder, sharper. They stopped trying to convince adults and started planning for war. We had 6 months until our 14th birthday. 6 months to turn wishes into reality. The planning intensified after Emma's illness. My sisters smuggled down more supplies through increasingly creative methods. Lily hid lockpicks in her paint tubes. Emma tucked wire cutters between textbook pages. Olivia brought medical supplies from her hospital volunteering, bandages and antiseptic hidden in her backpack's lining. I practiced escaping through the ventilation system. The metal ducts were narrow, but years of limited food had kept me small. I mapped every turn, every junction, timing how long it took to reach different rooms. My fingernails broke against screws as I learned to remove grates silently. During one practice run, I made it to the living room vent. Through the slats, I watched my parents arguing. Dad waved bank statements while Mom poured another glass of wine. Their voices carried clearly through the metal. The financial situation was worse than I'd realized. Dad's business had lost 3 major contracts. Mom's spending hadn't adjusted. They discussed selling the house, downsizing, cutting expenses. Neither mentioned their 4th daughter eating scraps in the basement. I crawled backward through the ducts, dust coating my throat. Back in my room, I documented everything. Knowledge was ammunition. Their desperation made them dangerous, but also vulnerable. My sister's separation couldn't stop our communication. We developed new methods. Lily painted messages in her artwork using specific color combinations only we understood. Emma created math problems whose answers spelled out words. Olivia left medical textbooks with highlighted passages about patient rights and bodily autonomy. Mom's paranoia escalated. She installed motion sensors in the hallway leading to the basement. The new cameras had night vision, infrared, capabilities I hadn't seen before. She started marking the food levels, weighing portions before bringing them down. One evening, she arrived with a medical kit and a different expression. Not routine checking. Something had changed.